I'm always held in a suspended sense of awe when I'm at art museums. In awe of the talent, in awe of the fellow visitors, in awe of the museum employees who stand in an exhibit and guard the art all day. When I walk through an exhibit, I wonder what other people think about a certain piece of art, what affects them. I find myself curious about the museum employees' opinions of the work. When I go to a museum, I like to ask them if they have a favorite piece of art. They always do. Their face lights up when they talk about their favorite piece. You get to hear what moves them, what art they relate to, what art makes them feel. And honestly, I can't think of anything more wonderful than that. And that's exactly what I did at Crystal Bridges. As I passed through exhibits, I sometimes asked an employee about their favorite art piece. One showed me a Thomas Cole painting, another the painting of Robert Louis Stevenson and his wife, another pointed me towards a Rothko. Then I met Jeremy. He was standing near the Rosie the Riveter painting, moving his weight from one foot to the other and looking sufficiently bored. As I passed him, we started talking about the paintings in the room, which led to him asking about why I was at the museum, which led to talking about colleges, which led to talking about French literature. Somehow, I'm still not really sure that happened. After a while, I needed to move on to the other exhibits, and we said goodbye. 5 minutes later, Jeremy reappeared. His shift was over, he said, and he wanted to make sure I saw the Rothko, which was his favorite. As he pointed out different pieces of work, he told me information that wasn't on the plaques next to the artwork, and his reactions to them. According to Jeremy, a group of the museum employees like to walk around the museum when they're on their off hours and discuss the pieces together. My favorite story about the group is of the employee Stan, who used to be a Catholic priest until he realized his love for art, and now spends every possible hour in Crystal Bridges. Then we came to the painting La Mort des Enfants de Bethel. Painted by Bob Thompson in 1964 to 1965, the pieces show solid-colored bodies in a forest. The majority of the bodies are lying down, but a couple of bodies stand or kneel around the fallen, caring for them. I looked at the painting and felt a dull ache somewhere in my chest, but did not know why. Jeremy pointed to the painting and told me that the title translated to the death of the infants of Bethel. Thompson created the piece to commemorate the children who were killed in a bombing at Bethel Baptist Church in Birmingham. I breathed the word wow, and Jeremy nodded. Yeah, Jeremy said, he doesn't say anything about that on the plaque, so people have no idea what the painting means. Jeremy calls it the Dazzling Effect, the bit of rare information that lends a new perspective to a painting, a kind of reframing, if you will. If I had never asked, or if I had stayed within myself at the exhibit, I never would have learned what I now know. While there's something beautiful about walking around an exhibit, experiencing the art and taking our own interpretations from it, it's not enough. For me, it's important to understand that everyone is taking something away from the art in the museum, and more often than not, his or her takeaway is different from yours. The thing is, you'll never know unless you ask, unless you transform your inward curiosity into something more active. When I learned what Jeremy thought about certain pieces, I realized I wasn't the only one experiencing it. I realized, and this is the perfect metaphor for my spirituality, I'm not the only one in the gallery. We do not exist singularly, and in order to maintain spiritual health, we cannot think singularly. It's so important to listen to people, to hear their stories and learn from them, because here's the thing, there cannot be a republic of stories if it's just your story. By participating in the beauty of listening to each other, we grasp hold of a unique kind of understanding of ourselves. I often forget that we all share many of the same things. I forget to ask people for their stories, and I forget to listen. These are things I am not proud of, but they are true. For the record, let me say, I am doing my best to change this. I'm doing my best to remember that everyone has a dazzling effect. A bit of information that will change my whole outlook, that will make me better, and more importantly, help me better the world. I'm remembering to hear people's stories, to remember them and to live through them. I'm trying to remember that I'm not the only one in the gallery.